Welcome to Saltash Maths Tutor, and now we're going to be doing fractions with different denominators. So in the previous video we looked at a situation when we had two denominators which were the same, and in this video we're going to be looking at the situation when we've got different denominators. So 3 and a 4 is the denominator, and how we work that out. Now in the previous video we did look at, and I'll just write it out again, or that's the wrong pen, that's not what we want. We had the 1/3 and 2/3, and because the denominators were the same, we were just able to add the top numbers and come up with the answer. In this particular instance it's 1 plus 2, which is 3 over 3, and we also looked at the situation where 3 over 3, one number divided by itself, would equal 1. So there's actually a couple of points being added there. And the clue for what we're going to be doing is the fact that the denominators were the same, and that will lead us into how we're going to deal with fractions with different denominators. So the issue that we've actually got is we've got one denominator here, which is 3, and 1 4, and the idea of this is reasonably simple, and the concept is, can I add a Labrador, here's a Labrador, to a poodle? And the short answer is no, you can't do that. And this is a bit like saying, can I add a third and a quarter? It doesn't quite work. But if I can make both of the denominators a Labradoodle, that's what this little chap here is, then it does work. In essence, we've got to do something to the 3 and something to the 4 to make them the same. Now you remember from previous videos that we talked about equivalent fractions, and I know that I've spelt it wrong in the past, you'll have to forgive me. So what we've got to do is make 1/3 and a quarter have the same denominator, and the easiest way to do that, the practical way of doing that, is to multiply one denominator by another. So in this case we end up with 12. We now make equivalent fractions of this equation, and it should mean that we can add like fraction to like fraction. So here's the example of how that works. So 1/3, well I know it's going to end up being a 12th, so let's have a 12th there, and I know it's going to be plus because I've got the plus sign there, and this fraction is going to be a 12th also, and it's got to be so that they still have the same value. So follow me through on this one and see how we go. What do I have to do to get 3 to become 12? Well, I times it by 4. So whatever I do to the bottom bit, I must do to the top. You'll recall this from the equivalent fractions video. So it becomes 4. If I want a quick check to make sure that I've actually got that right, I'm going to go through the process of 4's into 4 go 1, 4's into 12 go 3. That's the same as this fraction here, so that's okay. And then what do I have to do to the 4 to get 12? Well, that's multiplied by 3, so I must multiply the top here by 3, which 1 times 3 is 3. Sorry, just erase that. And I can do that double check again. 3's into 3 go 1, 3's into 12 go 4, and that's the same as that fraction there. Let's put 3. 3 keeps disappearing. Now this almost goes back to the previous video, doesn't it? And it's almost the way that you say it. I have 4 twelfths plus 3 twelfths. Well, I've got 4 of something and 3 of something. If I add it together, it must be 7/12. And that's the answer. Okay, let's work through this one and see how we go. So here we go, and we're going to start off with, we're going to kick off with multiplying 5 by 4. So we end up with 4 5s are 20. So I've got to turn this equation into a new one with equivalent fractions. So we're going to have 20th plus a 20th, and I'm getting the plus sign here from here. And then what do I have to do to that 5 to make 20? Well, it's times 4. 4 5s are 20, so I need to times the top here by 4 as well. And that's going to give me 2 times 4, which is 8. And I can go through my double check process if you like. 8 over 20. 4s into 8 go 2. 4s into 20 go 5. Yep, that all works correctly. That's what we've got on the left hand side of the equation. And then with the quarter, what do I have to do to the 4 to make 20? Well, I need to times it by 5. So I need to times the top by 5, just like in the equivalence fractions. I keep saying if you need to, go back to the equivalent fractions tutorial. But 1 times 5 is, oh, we don't want that colour, do we? 1 times 5 is 5. So now, because both of the denominators are the same, it's like the video we had where it's adding with 2 similar denominators. I've got 8 20ths and 5 20ths. I've got 8 of something and 5 of something. So what have I got in total? I have got, that's right, 13 20ths. So the key to this So just a resume of what we've been doing. Identify the fact that we've got 2 different denominators. Multiply the 2 together, therefore forming 2 new equivalent fractions. Multiply the top numbers, just as in equivalent fractions. Multiply to get the top numbers correctly in position, and then because we've got the denominators both the same, we can consider it 6 and 8 things added together, which gives us the answer in this case 10 over 8. And we'll be coming on to mixed numbers, and we'll be coming on to how we deal with those, because obviously here we've got a situation where 10 over 8 means that we actually end up with a mixed number, but I'll cover that in detail later on. Thanks very much. You've been listening to Saltash Math Tutor. Got any problems, then just post some comments and I'll try and help you.